Hello, Christy coming here from Little Roots Ranch, live from the wood pile. Today we're going to talk about garlic. Now, obviously garlic is amazing and fall is upon us all, and so your mind probably is thinking about, is it time to plant garlic? And the answer is probably. For the majority of people, usually when you will plant garlic is about 4 to 6 weeks before your ground freezes. And now I am in the Pacific Northwest, and Washington specifically, but the Pacific Northwest, and our ground doesn't freeze. And if there's like a little bit of the top layer that kind of freezes, it's workable by like noon or whatnot. Now I'm Western Washington. There is Eastern Washington. Definitely their ground freezes, they get the snow. We don't get snow every year, and if we do, we'll usually get one snowstorm and it melts with the rain the next day. So that's, we don't get really low temperatures. So I am zone 8B, and I have really mild weather year round. My summers aren't too hot, my winters aren't too cold. It's pretty nice. It's gray a lot, but absolutely beautiful. But enough about that. So for the average person, think about 4 to 6 weeks before your ground freezes. In the Pacific Northwest, that's a great debate. A lot of folks plant their garlic around mid to late October, and some folks plant it in late November. And I'm not sure it makes a difference. I know last year, my plan, I think, was to plant it around Halloween, and life is crazy starting a new farm, and so I was like, I'm gonna get it in the ground by Thanksgiving for sure, but it ended up being, I think, the weekend after Thanksgiving, obviously just a couple days later. But my garlic crop did perfect. I know a lot of people who planted early. We had a mild winter to start, and so a lot of people's garlic was coming up, and they're all fine, and mine didn't, which is good. That's what I wanted to do, just start the root system, relax over the winter, and pop up in the summer, of course. Well, I guess spring, but you know what I mean. So to answer the question of when to plant, it depends. There really isn't a bad time. This year, I think I'm angling maybe in the next 2 weeks, but there's also life, so maybe I'll be planting it. My Instagram and Facebook will show, but maybe I'll be planting it around in mid-November or something. But so that's that. When you're thinking about planting garlic, what you really want to do is be mindful. Right now, most people don't have a whole lot of stuff in their garden, and that's, a lot of the stuff's been pulled out unless you're overwintering anything, so you've got all this room. But what you need to consider is next year, because that garlic is going to be in there till about July. Remember, tomatoes are in July, peppers and all the goodies. So you kind of want to think about this year and next year and what space that garlic's going to occupy. Also, garlic is amazing. I'm so excited every year for garlic. What's it called? The other thing is you should know the different types of garlic. So there's 3, and you'll find out why. 3 types of garlic: hardneck, softneck, and elephant. Hardneck is obviously hard neck. It's got a stiff stem. It's got a sharper flavor. It's more hardier, whatever, for cold winters and stuff like that. It's got a slightly less shorter shelf life than the soft neck, but I don't find it to be a problem. And the real bummer, this is like the only bummer, you cannot braid this garlic into beautiful braids. So big bummer, I know. The garlic that I grow is hardneck. The main variety is Music. It's a solid producing garlic, beautiful in every way. But I've also got like side collections of different things I'm working on. One of them is Korean Mountain, and I have a pretty big selection of Asian garlics, and I really don't want to say any of them wrong because I don't want to say them wrong. But anyways, but all of them are hardneck. The other type is soft-necked. And obviously what you can deduce from that is that it does not have that stiff stem. It is soft. It's also, when you get garlic from the grocery store, odds are that's going to be a soft neck garlic. It's got a milder flavor, something that everyone's used to, kind of a thing, and it keeps a little bit longer. And it's great in mild winters. The third type of garlic is elephant garlic. Now, technically, elephant garlic is not a garlic. It's more of a leek, but it is in the allium family, and a lot of people grow it like garlic. So for whatever, I just call it garlic. I actually haven't grown it yet, but I do. It's on my list. That and about 400 million other things, but that's here nor there. Oh, my ducks just got out. Give me just a moment. Okay, sorry about that. You'll probably hear them in the background. I don't know if the phone picks it up or not. They free range during the day, and so, but I keep them away from my starts, and so I had to go redirect them. But anyways, so getting back to growing garlic, which is awesome. You should grow a million garlics every year. I love garlic for everything from medicine to just flavor to you name it. I feel like anytime I'm like reading a recipe, do you hear the turkeys? Anytime I'm reading a recipe, I usually like do 8 times the garlic. Like I don't know what 1 clove is. I'm like, 1 clove, no. I'm doing that backwards. 1, whatever, I get them confused. It's been a long day. Anyways, so things that I want to talk about is that the first thing is when to plant. So generally 4 to 6 weeks before the ground freezes, but potentially between mid-October, mid-November, end of November if you're really bad. Then what you want to do is you want to loosen the soil to about 6 to 8 inches down. If you're using any kind of fertilizer or amendments or whatever, you want to go ahead and take care of that at that time. But you want to loosen the soil because garlic isn't planted at the surface level. The next thing you want to do is you want to break up the cloves. Now, leaving the paper as intact as you can. You're going to want to use the biggest pieces. The biggest cloves will give you the biggest next year's harvest. Now, if you've only got a couple cloves, then you want to keep them all together, or you want to plant all of them, and just whatever you get, you get. But if you're trying to really refine, the ducks are like 1 foot away from us. I don't know if you can hear them. But if you're really wanting to refine your garlic growing practices, then you're going to want to just each year save the absolute biggest, the biggest ones, and put those in and keep growing them, and it'll just slowly get bigger over time. Then you want to plant 3 to 4 inches down, pointy side up. That's really important. Pointy side up. I know a lot of people say that they just plant it any which way and it grows around, and I'm sure it will, but it's just easier, Pointy side up, 3 to 4 inches in. I like to take like a shovel handle thing that like got broken, and so it's like a weapon basically, and I just go like that into the soil, and it's sharp, and so it just and then I go back through and I put my little cloves in and make sure and label them, because you say you'll forget, you'll remember. You won't label them if you have multiple kinds. Then you want to water them, of course. If it's going to rain or something, then you're fine. But and speaking of water, you won't really need to water. Well, I guess it depends on where you're at. But generally, garlic isn't too demanding. And so going through the winter is usually when you're going to have a lot of rain anyways, and you don't have to worry about it. And then in the spring, you can water if needed, again, depending where you're at. For me, I almost never water my garlic, honestly. And then once the scapes appear, you definitely don't want to water it. More on that later. The scapes, so good. Make pesto out of them, trust me. I'll have to do a video next year, because obviously I don't have any right now. Then you want to, when you think about harvesting, because that's pretty much it, right? Like you just put them in the ground, And just give them time, you know, and then the scapes pop up. And that's when you know you're about a month away from, what's it called? From being able to harvest your garlic approximately. And you pull those. Some people leave them on, but the tricky thing about harvesting garlic is to know exactly when it's done. I look for like at least four leaves to start dying at the very bottom when I pull it, or sometimes I'll like dig around and take a look at one. But the bulb development really happens at the end. And so it's a little bit of a fine line. Well, not so fine, I guess. It's a little bit of a thicker-ish line, but between pulling them too early and missing out on the growth that could have happened, or pulling them too late and they start to split and they're prone to rot or have other problems. They don't store well, you know, things like that. So that's really important to keep or to know. And then you rinse and repeat, you know, whether you're keeping your own garlic to use every year, or you want to try something new and buy some seed garlic. I know there's a lot of controversy about like whether to get garlic from the store or not. If that's your best option, I definitely think that you can do that. But if you are able to get seed garlic that is certified, I definitely recommend that, because sometimes you don't know. The majority of the garlic comes from China. Not saying anything bad, obviously, but comes from China. And so there's different like soil-borne stuff that you can actually, there's something in particular, I can't remember what it's called. I think it begins with an F. But once you get it, like if you get bad garlic seed and you bring it to your soil, it's there indefinitely, or like at least I think 10 years or something like that, and you can't grow garlic in that area. Something like that. I know that on the farms it's definitely worrisome, you know, to keep that soil free or whatever. But so I always recommend getting certified seed garlic. But if you don't have that ability, then you're still fine. You know, just you know, pick the biggest cloves and have at it. But I hope that I have tried to make kind of a short video. I always fail at that, but I try. But garlic is super easy. You can do it. I believe in you. You know, if you're trying garlic, if you're about to try garlic and you're like nervous or whatnot, don't. It's super easy. Be aware that it may not pop up, or probably, at least mine doesn't pop up till the spring, and that's okay. And comment down below if you've got any tips, or if you have any questions, or if this is your first time growing garlic. And yeah, happy garlicking. Bye.